How to learn English effectively and achieve fluency. Part 1. Improving your spoken English. Number 1. Speak a little English every day. The absolute best way to learn any new language is just to speak it. It doesn't matter if you only know 5 English words or if you're practically fluent. Speaking English with another person is the fastest, most effective method of improving. Don't wait until you feel more comfortable speaking in English. You probably won't reach that level for a long time, so push yourself outside of your comfort zone and start speaking English today. You'll be amazed at how quickly your language skills improve. Find a native English speaker who is willing to spend some time speaking English with you. You may be able to offer them a language exchange, where they spend 30 minutes speaking English with you and you spend 30 minutes speaking your native language with them. If you live in an English-speaking country, you can practice by starting simple conversations with the people you meet, whether it's saying hello to a shopkeeper or asking a stranger for directions. Number 2. Work on your pronunciation. Even if you have an acceptable grasp on the English language with good grammar and an extensive vocabulary, native English speakers may find you very difficult to understand if you don't work on your pronunciation. Correct, clear pronunciation is essential if you really want to improve your level of English. Listen closely to how native English speakers pronounce certain words and sounds, and do your best to copy them. Pay particular attention to sounds that you are unfamiliar with or that do not exist in your native tongue. For example, some people have difficulty pronouncing the R sound, as it does not exist in their native language, while other people have difficulty with certain consonant clusters, such as the TH sound. Be aware that the pronunciation of certain English words varies greatly depending on the part of the world it's spoken in. For example, American English is very different from British English. If you intend to travel to or live in an English-speaking country, this is something you should take into account when learning how to pronounce certain words. Number 3. Expand your vocabulary and use idiomatic phrases. The wider your vocabulary and the more English phrases you learn, the easier speaking English will become. Again, spending time with native English speakers will help you to pick up on common vocabulary and phrases in a natural way. Although reading, watching English TV, and listening to the news is also beneficial. Once you have learned a new word or phrase, you should make an effort to use it in a sentence. This is the best way to commit it to memory. Another easy way to commit new words to memory is to make labels for everyday household items and stick them around your house or apartment. Then, every time you use the kettle or look in the mirror, you will see the English word for these items staring back at you. You should also start a notebook of idiomatic phrases that English speakers use all the time. Some examples include, "It's raining cats and dogs," which means it's raining heavily, "to be on cloud 9," or "to be very happy," or saying something is a piece of cake when something is very easy. Sprinkling these kinds of phrases into your conversation will bring your level of English up several notches. Number 4. Attend an English class or discussion group. Another great way to incorporate some extra English conversation into your weekly routine is to sign up for a class or discussion group. Attending an English class is a great way to focus on some of the more formal aspects of speaking English. A class will teach you the grammatically correct way of speaking, which includes proper sentence structure and verb conjugation, and will generally provide a very structured approach to language learning. Attending a discussion group is a more informal and relaxed way of learning English, where the emphasis is more on communication and relationship building than on speaking correct English. Speaking English in this setting can help you become more comfortable with speaking in front of other people. Both of these language learning settings have their pros and cons, so it's best to do both if you can. Number 5. carry a dictionary. Carrying an English dictionary with you at all times, whether it's an actual book or a phone app, can be very useful. Having a dictionary means that you will never be stuck for a word. It can save you a lot of embarrassment if you're having a conversation with an English speaker and forget a word in the middle of a sentence. All you have to do is take a second to look it up. Aside from saving you awkwardness, looking up the word you need, then immediately using it in a sentence will actually help you to commit the new vocabulary to memory. It is also helpful to have a dictionary to peruse throughout the day during private moments, like when you're sitting on the train, waiting to cross the street, or just having a cup of coffee. You could learn an extra 20 to 30 English words per day using this technique. As a beginner, you should start with an English dictionary that provides definitions in your native language. However, once your language skills improve, you should switch to using an English to English dictionary, which provides English definitions for English words. Part 2. Improving your writing, reading, and listening skills. Number 1. Listen to English radio or podcasts. One of the best ways to improve your English listening comprehension is to download English language podcasts or radio apps on your phone or MP3 player. You should then make an effort to listen to the podcasts or radio shows for at least 30 minutes per day. Do it in the gym, on your commute to work, or while you're sitting at your computer. Make an effort to understand what's being said. Don't just let the English wash over you. Even if you find it too fast, try to pick out key words and phrases to get a general idea of what the conversation is about. If you can, make a note of any words or phrases that you don't understand and look up the translation afterwards. Then, listen to the podcast or show again to hear the new words or phrases in context. Number 2. Watch English movies and TV shows. Another fun way to improve your listening comprehension is to watch English movies and TV shows. Try to pick movies or TV shows that you will enjoy. This will make the exercise feel like less of a chore. If possible, choose movies or shows that you are already familiar with, such as children's cartoons or blockbuster films. If you already know the basic story, you will find the language much easier to pick up on. However, you should avoid watching movies or television shows with subtitles in your native language. They will only distract you and make you less inclined to focus on understanding the English, which is the whole point of the exercise. Number 3. Read an English book, newspaper, or magazine. Reading is an essential part of learning a new language, so don't forget to practice. Find something you are really interested in, whether that's a famous English novel, the New York Times, or a fashion magazine, and start working your way through it. If you find the content boring, you will be less inclined to persevere with it. Again, make an active effort to actually understand what you're reading. Don't just skim over it. Highlight any words or phrases that you don't understand. Then look them up in your dictionary. Number 4. Keep a diary in English. Aside from reading and listening comprehension, you should also spend some time working on your written English. This may be one of the most difficult aspects of your language learning, but it is important nonetheless. Writing in English will help you to work on your sentence structure, grammar, and spelling. Try to keep an English diary in which you write down a few sentences every day. It doesn't have to be deeply personal. You could write about the weather, what you ate for dinner, or what your plans are for the day. Number 5. Find an English-speaking pen pal. Once your written language skills have improved, you could consider getting an English-speaking pen pal. Having an English-speaking pen pal combines your English writing practice with the excitement of getting a letter or email. Your pen pal may be someone who is learning English like you, or they may be a native English speaker who wants to practice their foreign language skills by writing to you in your native tongue. Having a pen pal from an English-speaking country such as the United States, Britain, Canada, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, or South Africa, for example, will also allow you to learn more about the culture and what life is like in that part of the world. Part 3. Committing to your new language. Number 1. Stay motivated. When learning any new language, it is important to stay motivated and never give up on your goal of fluency. Stay committed to your language learning goal by reminding yourself of how badly you want to achieve it. Think of all the amazing experiences and opportunities that will be available to you once you've mastered the English language. Number 2. Practice every day. If you want to gain fluency quickly, you need to commit to practicing every day. Learning a new language is based on repetition, so if you wait too long between study sessions, you will forget everything you learned previously and have to start all over again, wasting valuable time. However, you shouldn't study so much that you grow sick of English. Try to keep things interesting by completing a different task each day. One day of reading, one day of listening comprehension, one day of writing practice, one day of studying grammar, etc. Number 3. Train yourself to think in English. One way to make the transition from being very good at English to being fluent is to train your brain to actually think in the English language. Constantly translating from your native language into English and back again inside your head consumes time and energy. Every language has its own nuances and peculiarities, which makes it impossible to accurately translate from one language to another in certain instances. Number 4. Make friends with English speakers. One of the greatest tests of a person's fluency in a second language is to put them in a room with a bunch of native speakers and see if they can follow and contribute to the conversation. The best way to achieve this level of fluency is to make some English-speaking friends and hang out with them in a social setting, like a cafe or bar. This way, you will be forced to speak English if you want to interact with your peers, but it won't feel like work or study because you'll be having so much fun. Number 5. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. The biggest obstacle that stands in the way of learning a new language is the fear of making mistakes. This fear serves no purpose. It is merely a hindrance that prevents you from reaching your goal of fluency. Don't be afraid of making a mistake, and don't be shy. Of course, you can't speak a new language perfectly at the start. Try to express yourself, albeit with difficulty. Remember that everyone makes mistakes when they are learning a new language. It's a rite of passage. You will almost certainly have your fair share of awkward or embarrassing moments when you accidentally say something rude or incorrect, but this is all part of the fun.